inside each of these old Sunbeam Mixmasters was a part so important that Sunbeam needed a special material with properties rarely seen at the time. It had to be durable, of course, but also resilient. It needed to stand up to friction, and it needed to last for many, many years. What was this magic material? And what part did Sunbeam's engineers make from it? Stay tuned and find out. Hi, I'm George, the youngest of Auntie Nen's great-nephews, and I'd like to welcome you to the Mixmaster Workshop on the Distinctive Living channel. When a Mixmaster first arrives at Auntie Nen, it doesn't march straight to the workbench. The first stop is always the kitchen sink. Years in attics and basements and garages have left layers of grease, dust, grime, and sticky kitchen mess. Before it goes any further into my house, it gets a quick scrub to wash away the worst of it. This isn't the full restoration yet, just a courtesy rinse, so I can actually handle the machine without getting black hands. And at this point, I check the cord. If it's cracked or frayed or brittle, many times they are, I don't take any chances. I cut it off right there, before I even think of plugging it in. There's no point risking a shock or worse. Safety comes first. Once it's clean enough to handle, the real work begins, the teardown. Every screw, every washer, every gear comes out. Nothing gets left behind. I like to say this is where the Mixmaster tells me its story. You can see where it worked the hardest, where it was babied, and where it was pushed beyond its limits. I rarely tear just one down. I've usually got a batch of Mixmasters of the same model, and I'll often strip several at once. The worst in the group may be the savior to the others, like organ donation for appliances. Most people think these mixers last forever because they're all metal inside, but that's not really true. Sunbeam used a resin and fiber composite gear designed to run quieter and to act as a sacrificial part. I've never actually found a broken one. What I do find is hardened grease. That's why every gear gets scrubbed with solvent until it's spotless. Once a machine is stripped down, it's decision time. Paint or no? Not every Mixmaster needs a full refinish. Sometimes keeping the original finish is the right call. Here's what I look for. Gloss and shine. If the paint still has life, polish may be enough. Chips and scratches. A little honest patina can be fine, but big flakes are rust or a repaint candidate. Color integrity. Ivory can yellow, turquoise can fade, and chrome can dull. If the paint no longer represents what it was meant to be, a repaint can bring it back. And the main thing I look at is branding. If the Sunbeam decal is worn off or gone, that's a good case for a repaint. But if the logo is intact, with good color and no major damage, I'll usually preserve it, even if that means repainting only certain parts. Here's a question for you. When you think back to the Mixmasters in your kitchen growing up, what color comes to mind? Did your mom have one of the 50s colors, like pink or yellow or turquoise? Or were you a more groovy kid from the 70s with harvest gold, chrome, or avocado green? Drop your memory in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And tell me this, would you be interested in seeing Mixmasters repainted in fresh, modern colors? Imagine one in jet black or a bold red to match today's kitchens. Hit the thumbs up if that's something you'd like to see. A Mixmaster isn't just paint and gears. The real magic is the motor, speed control, and electrical parts. First up, the cord. They're almost always cracked or frayed, so I cut them off immediately. I'll end up replacing them with a new modern cord. Then there's the governor, the brain of the Mixmaster. Mechanical, ingenious, regulating the motor's smooth climb from stir to whip. And the resistors, early electronic parts that can't be replaced today. That's why I handle them with care. Resistors are the wild card. If 6 machines come in but only 4 have strong resistors, then 4 finished Mixmasters is all I can make. The best resistors get paired with the best parts to create a complete Auntie Nen treasure. After all that work, this is the moment I wait for, plugging it in and bringing it back to life. The sound is unmistakable, smooth, steady, and strong. I test every speed from stir to whip. If they all respond cleanly, I know this machine has truly been reborn. For me, Mixmasters aren't just machines. They're part of my own story. The first baking I ever did was on a chrome Sunbeam in my mother's kitchen. I remember watching the beaters turning opposite directions, absolutely mesmerized. Other kids were into cars and motorcycles. I wanted to know how these things worked. Restoring these today feels like keeping a promise. When I pass one along, I know I'm sending out a piece of heritage ready for new memories. Did you grow up licking the beaters while someone else got the bowl? Why not share this video with that person and bring them into the memory? So that's the journey, how a tired old Sunbeam becomes an Auntie Nen treasure. In upcoming videos, I'll share more of my Mixmaster story, show you how to determine the model and era of your machine, and explore why the Mixmaster became such an icon of mid-century America. If you love vintage kitchens, design history, or just the joy of bringing an old treasure back to life, then AuntieNen.com is the place for you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and don't miss the stories we've got coming.